listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. Brad Allard.
Well, get a good look at me because probably the camera will be on Kim most of the show. So I have Kim Jones here with the Property Tax Justice Foundation, and she's got a few more things. When I had the last show we had, for me personally, was one of the best viewed shows I ever had, and certainly the best one for 2026. So I'm hoping this will do the same. But you're pretty active in this, and we're going to be talking about several things: the evaluation process, about some of the issues involved with that, also how one can protest evaluations, and the importance of doing that, because they're not going to do it for you, are they? No, that's about as quiet as she's going to be. So, all right. Anyway, so, and I was shocked to learn that you don't drink coffee after putting all those decaf jokes about you. Just you're a water person, huh?
Water person. I'm a waterholic.
No, but good for you. My wife tries to get me to drink more water, and said, "Well, I'll still have the coffee." How you doing, Josh? Fantastic. You notice anything different about Josh? How tan he is? You know, he went to the beach last week.
Scottish tan, was it?
A Scottish tan.
Gotta love it.
A Scottish tan means is what? You had your kilt and
deeper
shirt
shade
on?
of beige.
Yeah.
No, it means I burnt to a crisp and nothing tanned afterwards.
Okay.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, we're going to do the sponsors real quick, and then we're going to get into it because she has a lot of information that we'll be going through. First of all, our friends at Our Place. I was there yesterday. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze now. We don't have a cough button in this joint. There you go. Anyway, Our Place Restaurant. I was there yesterday with my buds, and we were talking about, life in general and football and blah, blah, blah. My men in my Sunday school class every 2 weeks get together and, I don't know, bemoan the state of the union. Who knows? What old men do, right? Mm-hmm. I remember my grandfather used to do that at Dairy Queen and Ennis and that kind of thing.
You're talking about football already? What about baseball?
We talk about that, but the thing about baseball, with the Rangers, when they're not doing well, we don't talk about them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but are you an Orioles fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Ravens fan.
Oh my. Well, yeah, I don't know if you'll get a lot of pushback on those teams around here. Now, if you were like an Eagles fan, then you'd have a real problem.
Oh no.
I know. And so anyway, also Gina's Pizza. Tonight is bingo night, and last night was chess night. And speaking of yesterday, I had Tina Michael on the show, whose son is a big player at chess night. Check out yesterday's show because she's just a published author, and she's wrote a book about her experiences growing up with Mobius syndrome, and it's really it's a great story. I read it, and it's a great story about how her mom, would not let that disability define her. Mm-hmm. And then she stood up for her daughter and what an impact that made upon her. It really was a very touching show, so I advise y'all to see that. But anyway, back to Gina's, since they're paying for all this. I think tomorrow night is karaoke night, and that's very popular also. Also, my friend John Williams, 817-734-2756 at Old Pro Roofing. I don't know if we're going to have any bad weather anytime soon, so it's a good time to get the roof inspected while we're dry. It's a bad time to get it inspected while it's raining. But, so he'll come on the roof, and it only really takes about 10 minutes, and there's no fee charged for the inspection. So just call Old Pro, and they're local folks, and we like to do local business. So I've had 5 phone calls from roofers, and okay, they're trying to make a living, I get it, but I'd rather have my friend John and my buddies down at Old Pro do it. Also, speaking of old buddies, there's my buddy Jeff. He was on the show about 2 weeks ago, and I told him specifically about this show and about the one that he had prior. And I know he watched it because he's a realtor, of course, and this is very important to him. So call him at 817-781-0546. He agreed with a great deal of what you said, so he's understanding the problem. Or you can text him or email him rather at jeff@jeffkellyrealty.com. He's with the Wethington Agency here in town. The Wethington Agency is a highly, highly reputable outfit, and they can help you with all these real estate problems, including the evaluation process. So there you are. And my buddy Rod Lewis, have you talked to him yet? You need to talk to him. He's doing a print newspaper. Yesterday, the headline was about the mosquito spraying and Burleson's doing. And, the thing is, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound very exciting. No, it's news you need to know, right? Mm-hmm. The local news is
practical.
It's practical news, right? You need to know what's going on. I'd try to make y'all contact, and you can do a whole story with him. He's doing an 8-page now. He started with 4, now it's 8-page, and he's doing a lot of Burleson-related news articles and retrospectives. There's like a column this one gentleman does about the history of this area and that kind of thing.
I think I could fill a few lines.
No, boy, you could. And the thing is, it's about 50.
Only 8 pages?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had a story earlier, a couple of weeks ago, about a city councilman passing, and it took the bulk of the newspaper. And there's 54, 55 places you can pick this up. So you get a nice headline going. You'll see it at Daydream Coffee. You'll see it at all the city buildings. You'll see it at every mechanic, every hair salon outfit.
Great, because I've got a great announcement that a newspaper would really help disseminate.
You want to tell us now or wait?
When we get into the show.
Okay, good. Okay, but I'll give you his contact information, and he'll be glad to meet with you. Also, my friends over at True Climate, Will Cobb and his sister Emily Cobb, 682-244-2019. As you're relatively new to Texas, I'm sure the first thing you realized about Texas summers is that they're hot.
You could melt.
If you don't have good air conditioning. I always thought Maryland to be very hot and humid.
But not as long as Texas.
Well.
We have plenty of humidity and we have plenty of heat. But everything's bigger and better in Texas, and their weather is hotter, longer.
Well, I'll tell you what, you go up in the Panhandle, it's the coldest and the hottest place you'll ever live.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, because there's not like 3 trees we're here in Canada. And so that wind comes down, and so even when it's only 35 degrees, well, it's a wind chill factor like minus 20. And you get people like Josh without much meat on the bone. He just freezes to death.
I'm well insulated.
Right?
Yeah.
Is about right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, he's still wearing a wool hat in summer. Okay, whatever.
I couldn't find my other hats. All right.
Is that right? No, it's the Mike Nesmith look. You know who Mike Nesmith is?
The monkeys.
The monkeys. See, I try to educate this guy. And look what happens. Anyway.
A little before my time.
Anyway.
Music is timeless, Josh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Scott family, Larry Scott and Sherry Scott, say hey. You're watching right now. Also, a special announcement. 2 days from now, we're going to have a big hearing at the Forest Hill Civic and Convention Center. It's the Stop Heritage Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant. On 1187, there's a proposed wastewater treatment plant. And let's just say that there's a lot of discrepancies in the application. And I'm just going to say they're done innocently because I don't want to asperge any characters or anything like that.
Cast
aspersions, whatever. So, but I just want to say that there are some questions that need to be answered about the application, and I think a lot of the impact on the area is going to was understated, or at least in my opinion. So, according to Michelle Quant Johnson, who was on the show a week ago yesterday, I'd watch that show again if you're wondering what I'm talking about. If you're on the Bethesda Bethesda water system, this could impact you, even if you don't live off of 1187. And we'll see what happens.
The glossing over of politicians to make a big deal sound like no big deal.
Like I said, I'm going to be careful how I characterize it because I don't want...
but that's me, not you.
But no,
you be politically correct.
Well... yeah. Anyway, there were just some discrepancies in the map and also in the studies done that there was disputes, and let's just say those disputes were in good faith and leave it at that. But let's talk about you. So you've been pretty busy since we last saw each other.
Very busy, and I am thrilled at the reach that we've gotten. I'm sure a lot of it is due to your program. Yes. And a lot of it has to do with the Horse Barn on Facebook. I've been getting calls from Lubbock, Bastrop, Bosque, Bear,
good heavens,
Van Zant, Kaufman, Collin, A whole bunch of places.
That's my hometown.
Oh, really?
Home county.
Okay.
Of course, the town I grew up in, Plano, isn't anything like it is now.
Oh, good Lord. No.
You know, it was a small country town when I moved there in 1974.
So the reach has gotten very far. I even had somebody ask me, "Are you available in Tennessee?" And I'm like, "Not yet," because the reason that I named it the Property Tax Justice Foundation and not the Texas Property Tax Justice Foundation, so that once I really get Texas under my belt, I can learn about other states.
Yeah.
Because it's a universal problem. But first and foremost, this is a big darn state, and there are a lot of people that need help.
Yes, they are. And I would think that the Tennessee issues may be similar, but the numbers and the laws and
very different.
Yeah.
And I'm a stickler for detail.
So when next time, in a couple of years from now, will I be calling you Governor Jones?
Heck no. Look, I told you, 65 years I avoided politics. I don't need to run, because if you run, your wings are clipped and you can't get anything done, because you got policies, procedures, you got people who try to push their power around. I just want to be a gal who gets it done.
Our friend Sherry says she just got back from Tennessee and there are bears there. I'm sure she's referring to Baylor Bears, but anyway.
No, they were the real ones.
The real ones, okay. But anyway.
Josh, can you bring up the first slide, dear?
I'm just going to, honestly, you just tell Josh what you need, because I don't,
Okay.
You all two have worked it out, so you don't need me to say, next slide, please. You just, when you're ready to go next slide, let it roll.
All right. What I wanted to do, in case I drift off into acronyms, to explain them. Okay. The CAD is the Central Appraisal District. The ARB is the Appraisal Review Board. They are the judges that sit and listen to the hearings. The homeowner is the plaintiff. They bring the case. The CAD they are the defendants,
Right.
and they have the burden of proof on them. And then they each present their evidence, and it's up to the ARB to deliberate, and they come out with a determination.
Prior to joining the ARB, what kind of qualifications one must have to be on this ARB?
You have to be 18, live in Johnson County for 2 years, and be breathing.
Very high standards.
Some people can't meet them.
You can, so you don't have to be like involved in certain fields.
No thing.
So I could be on the ARB, and I don't have any real estate
Even you.
experience. Even me.
Even you.
They don't want me on that board.
You know what? I'm a unique individual, and I'm a very polarizing individual.
Really?
If you have a good, positive interaction with me, you might think I'm the next best thing to sliced bread. If you have a not so positive interaction with me, well, then you just think that I'm a witch.
I have a feeling when you walk into one of these hearings and these CAD meetings, whatever, they just go, "Oh, geez."
Well, I haven't gone into my first one in this new role yet.
Yeah.
But I think when I walk into the BOD, Board of Directors meetings, they say, "Oh, crap, she's here."
Why could we not, her car not break down? I get it, yeah.
Last October, myself, my husband, and my son, I prepared speeches for all three of us so I could get 9 minutes of information out, because they like to cut me off at the second of 3 minutes.
They cut your mic?
They will. There's a gentleman on the board who is not the chair. The chair is in charge of the meeting, but there's this gentleman over here who starts yelling at me because he's got a very loud voice to cut it out. So this month I needed to do the same thing, only my son had his own story to tell. His property value went up 58%.
That's a lot.
Okay. So I didn't write anything for him. I just edited it and took out a curse word, and I said, they'll give you more credence if you don't.
Yeah, I guess
go
so.
that route.
I guess so.
And then my husband read part of his, and I read mine. But actually, mine got done on the spot, because I had something I'd planned to speak, but there were so many falsehoods stated before I got there. I was hotter than a frying pan in a 500-degree oven.
Well, was it this one you're telling prior to the show? Okay, in essence, it was the ARB exaggerated the number of hearings they've been having by a factor of 4.
Yeah.
and made it sound like that they're really, progressing through the process. And you did the math and
physically impossible.
Exposed them. Yeah, exposed them, and I'm sure he appreciated that.
Oh yeah, let me tell you.
Yeah, you don't expect a Valentine's card from him. Okay.
No.
All right.
And then when I hear something, and I've already had my 3 minutes to speak, I just sit there with my eyes closed, shaking my head, saying, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh." It makes me crazy.
Do they put you at the beginning of this process so you can get your stuff done, and then as far as all the others behind you, if they speak any falsehoods,
you can't do anything.
Yeah, misrepresentations, let's put, something like that.
Well, fortunately, I was the first one walking in the room to sign up to speak, but we were pretty much the last to speak, but it turned out really good because I did get to dispel some falsehoods.
This entire slide, is it available to the public in some fashion?
On my website.
On your website, okay. You also have questions here, but the website here, 817-330-9477, that's your phone number, right?
That's the foundation's number.
Okay, so it's a separate number from your personal, which I assumed.
Yes.
Okay, but 817-330-9477, I bet that's been ringing off the hook.
Yes, it has.
Well, that's a good thing.
Thankfully. Oh, no, very much so. And I hate to not answer it when I'm on the phone with somebody already. Now, I will say we have an excellent TLO, and that stands for Taxpayer Liaison Officer. Amy Lingo. She is aces in my book, and I knew she was going to be. She had been on the board. She was a president, I think, of a bank in Keene, if I'm not mistaken. And she is totally working to help the taxpayers understand the process, help to guide them, and bring their concerns to the board.
Okay.
Now, everybody knows about market value, but what most people don't think about is the fair and equal uniform treatment. Market value is very subjective. You're supposed to have comps within a certain area, similar size, age, different factors. And so, but it's based on sales. And if you don't have a lot of sales nearby, that can be challenging. But fair and equal, that's where properties that are similar in a location very close to you, how are they appraised per square foot? And if there is a difference, you can get your value lowered based on that.
Well, what I remember from our last show is that one of the things that it really stuck in your craw, if you will, is that you'd have three houses, same square footage, same neighborhood, all evaluated roughly the same, even if one of those houses was a derelict
terrible
property.
Condition.
Yeah.
That's mass appraisal.
Yeah.
That's what you get with mass appraisal.
Right. And then so having a house that's appraised the same as mine next door that's got weeds and, falling down fence, when really it should be evaluated much lower.
Absolutely.
And so if it was evaluated lower, mine would be lower, right? Just out of that math works that way. And I think that's one thing I took away from the show is just this broad spectrum that or brush, if you will. They say, okay, if you're X amount of square foot, you're in this neighborhood, boom, there's your property.
It is the necessary evil of mass appraisal. And Mitch Fast, our new appraiser at Johnson CAD, he is going to be putting together a presentation to do at a workshop that's going to be open to the public. And I'm sure I will be pushing for it to be properly filmed.
Sure.
I said, make it so a fifth grader could understand it.
Well, it helped because honestly, I really wasn't aware of this issue as well as I am now, but 2 years ago I was not at all. And I've had a learning curve on all this process and language, if you will, and whatnot. So it's been very educational for me.
Well, I told him I need pictures because I'm very visual.
So am I.
So it needs to be understandable for a fifth grader, and it needs to be visual. So here is our protest ladder. You start by filing your notice of protest. And then, oops. Oh, okay. I grabbed this before. I grabbed this one. There should be something between protest and arbitration. Yeah. And what it is an informal conference with an appraiser.
Okay.
Okay, this is the wonderful announcement that I am here to
All
bring.
right. Hey, come on. You get the property notice. He's trying to find something. There we go.
Yes. Thank you. Per our wonderful chief appraiser, Mitch Fast. I spoke to him this morning. I had presented a concept before the board of directors, but like I said, they're not allowed to answer you. I told him that I'm aware of people who had their informal sessions with the appraisers, but our website was not properly working. Nobody had access to property values. You couldn't check to see what your value was on there. You couldn't check to see what your neighbor's was. And so you're being asked to make a decision blindly. Some people come in, but many, many people do it over the phone. So the appraiser is looking at all this information and you're staring at the phone. You have no idea. And they just say words. And a lot of folks are so intimidated and don't understand the process that they're like, okay, anything is better than nothing, but they have not had due process afforded to them. So anyone who has had a informal session with an appraiser up until now can email jcad@johnsoncad.net and ask for a review and readdress.
Okay, so if just make sure everybody's clear on this. So if they're already gone through this process and you think, well, I'm done, if you're saying that these people are going to be eligible for a rehearing in effect.
Well, actually, when you settle with an appraiser, you sign something called you sign a waiver, a settlement and waiver, and that ends your rights to further adjudication. You can't go to arbitration. You can't take a lawsuit. Right. But depending on how things go and how prolific this gets, and folks, this is where your help is needed. You need to spread this word to everybody you know in your neighborhood, in your private neighborhood groups. If anybody has had an informal with an appraiser, today is the 16th of June.
Yes.
That did not have access to the CAD website working properly, they can email jcad@johnsoncad.net, and they will be given either a new informal or they can proceed then into an ARB hearing. Okay. And if you're going to go into an ARB hearing, make sure you follow my Facebook page, Property Tax Justice Foundation, and go to my website, propertytaxjusticefoundation.com, where you can learn about the process. We're having a property tax workshop at the Cleburne Conference Center on the 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So you can come and learn about the process. We work on a sliding scale, and the foundation can help folks. We have representation that we can provide because I can pretty confidently say your best chance of getting the highest reduction is to let us protest for you, because I've studied the Texas Property Tax Code and continue to do so, USPAP standards and the hearing procedures from the comptroller. And anybody can present evidence. Anybody can get comps from a realtor, look up on the CAD website, but it's how do you rebut when the district appraiser says to you, well, okay, we see what you're saying, but we think ours is more valid. There is a burden of proof that they're supposed to have, and just by saying, oh, we think ours is more valid, doesn't make it so.
I have a Ray Jones III watching. You know him?
That's my bun.
Yeah. Okay.
Married 43 years.
There you go. I figured husband be watching. Anyway. So
that's critical. Folks will have due process afforded to them. And it'll go to the general mailbox. It will be forwarded to Mitch, and you will receive communication. And one very important thing that you're going to want to find by connecting with us.
Here's your husband on the screen.
Oh.
About the great podcast. Well, I guess he's talking about you. Not, okay, anyway.
And hi, Aaron. Hi from Cleburne.
Yeah.
Back.
Now, you do a lot of stuff in Cleburne, all right?
Well, I live there.
Yeah, I know. So
you are going to get due recourse, okay? You are going to have a fair chance, but you have got to either call me at 817-330-9477 or look on my website, or the Facebook page. You'll have to do a lot of scrolling on the Facebook page. But I just came up with a really comprehensive list of information you need to be requesting when you file your notice of protest.
Is that available on the website?
It will be once I can get home and put it there.
Okay.
I just learned about it last night and have been on the phone quite late.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that because it's getting down to crunch time. Are they going to extend the July 2nd deadline?
Well, no. July 2nd is still for the majority of folks who have already received their notices. But Mitch just told me that there's 16,000 notices that just have gone out this week. So they're going to have until July 15th, I believe he said.
Sherry says, we went through the process several years ago and were awarded a reduction, but they never entered it into the computer system. So we had to fight that issue just to get what we were awarded.
That stinks. And let me tell you, Sherry, you're not the only one.
Oh, I'm sure.
We had a gentleman come in, and he was really coming in for his ag special valuation application. And technically, the ARB is not where you do that. But he came in one year, they lost the application. He had to spend $7,000 in taxes. Came back the second year. All right, when they lost it the first year, a little bit shame on you. You should have had some receipt or something. But he was like, they lost it once. They couldn't possibly do it twice. Well, you just don't know what the JCAT is capable of. So, yeah, they lost it again. So when he came in the third time, fortunately, that appraiser very wonderfully said to him, sir, I can help you get that because you came in this year, because you have 3 years once ag falls off to regain it. And so that man was so relieved, but he paid $15,000 because of an error of losing the application.
Let's segue just for a minute on the CAD itself. Who are they working for? The taxpayers or the tax collecting entities?
Well, they are, okay. Well, the entities have great influence for sure, okay? Because if they don't agree with something, they can come back and, like, if the board of directors and the CAD come up with a budget that they don't like, they can say, sorry, you got to go back to square one. So, yeah, okay, they work for the entities. I mean, the comptroller is the carnival tent over the umbrella of the CAD. Okay, so the comptroller the legislature sets the laws, comptroller sets the rules, and then you have the CAD in that middle silo from the last episode. And yes, it's the entities, but they usually don't say a whole lot. Until we failed the property value study, they've been pretty much to themselves. But they've learned they need to take an active interest. You can't just show up when things are going wrong. I'm surprised that the different entities don't have some representative come to every meeting to make sure things are going well. Because guess what? Things are happening. People are not listening. They're not paying attention, and they're not remembering, except I am.
Yes, as you mentioned, your presence is always welcome there at the CAD meetings. But I didn't expect them to really be advocates as such. But I thought, first when I learned of the CAD, I thought they were really supposed to be more on the side of the taxpayers. But it didn't sound like that.
Well, let me tell you, the customer service at the CAD is excellent. People go above and beyond to help the taxpayers. I mean, I've heard of instances where people have come in for something CAD related, but then they had another little kind of a problem. And that employee went above and beyond and looked up information and headed them in the right direction.
Okay.
So, but also, if you remember, and if I said, what they do more of are exemptions. We just hear about the protests. So the majority of their work is over 65, disabled veterans. Ag is not an exemption. It's a special valuation. But you hear it called ag exemption.
Right. So one of the things I took away from last time is the lack of visitation, if you will, on these properties. It's basically just done on a AI mathematical kind of formula.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
Yes.
Hey.
That's what I'm here for.
There's a slide it looks like 3 parts, Josh. I forget what I called it. There's like a red and green arrow in the middle.
You'll find it. Is that it? No, that's not it.
Nope.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, he's going to find it.
Oh, gosh, that lady looks funny.
Which one?
The one in the middle right there, her nose.
Oh, yeah. Is this AI created? Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Right.
There we go.
All right, there you go.
Just because they ask doesn't mean you must answer.
Mm-hmm.
Central Appraisal District sends surveys to buyers and sellers because technically they code sale information private. Not every jurisdiction has access to the MLS, and the access to the MLS is decreasing and decreasing as time goes, because that's where the CAD has unfair advantage over Joe the taxpayer, because Joe the taxpayer doesn't have access to that. They can get it through a realtor, but they send it to the buyer and the seller. And as long as Texas is really a non-disclosure state, if you really want to work off of that, throw that away. Don't answer it.
I don't think I ever have. I don't remember even getting it. But,
well, it's not something they do 100%.
Yeah, but I wouldn't answer that question because.
But a lot of people do very innocently.
Well, we're despite all our difficulty in dealing with government, we're kind of accustomed to just. It's the government.
It's Nunya.
Yeah, and so it's the government. They're asking, okay, I'll do it, and it's like.
A seller might be really proud of how much they sold their property for because they don't have to worry about the property taxes on it anymore. They're done. So many appraisal districts have access, but they don't need your input. And you're not required to provide your purchase price. It can create an unfair advantage for your neighbors because they have no way of knowing in this non-disclosure state. But let me tell you, as non-disclosure as we are, if somebody really wants to know, there are ways to find out.
Right.
Even if I didn't have my MLS access, I'm a detective. I can figure it out.
Well, sure. I figure MLS is a pretty universal outfit. And, if I want to know what somebody down the street sold their house for, it's usually estimates, at least, or public knowledge almost.
But they can't go by estimates. They need proof.
Okay.
And so the CAD sends their fieldwork appraisers out, and they should be asking permission to go on your property because everybody's property is private property.
That's what I was going to come up to. If they want a personal inspection of your house, they can't just show up at your door, right? You have to be invited onto your property. Is that right?
They should, but they don't. They just show up. I spoke to one lady. They were in the process of building their house. It wasn't yet finished. And two of the appraisers, I think she said, were together. And her husband came, and there they are walking around measuring. They did not ask. This is personal property. You shouldn't need a fence and a sign that says no trespassing. You should have to ask. There are ones who will come to the door and just be very nice and matter of fact. Oh, could we come in? And some older people especially, why, sure, honey, because they think they're supposed to. But guess what? Just say no. The CAD has unfair advantage of information. They don't deserve your information.
We have a question on the screen.
Oh, sorry.
From Holly.
Okay,
Holly Cook, I suppose. I hope I pronounced it correctly. If the CAD provides sale comps and it lists a sale price, can I trust that the property really sold for that price? Situation, one of the sale comps they provided has a sale price. Looking at the Realtor Zillow, I could see the list price and it's $30,000 lower. I'm surprised it would have sold for more in the current housing market.
First of all, Holly, what people don't understand is you have the right, and you darn well should, when you file your notice of protest, ask for the evidence that the CAD will be using. So you need to see it in person. Nobody just tells me something and I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good. No, I have to see it. And excuse me, wipe that Zillow part out. That place is as accurate as the A in its name. Yeah, there's no A in it because it is not accurate.
But she'll be here all week.
Thank you. So one thing is you have to see evidence. Don't take anything just by hearing. And the fact that you can ask for it up front gives you time to prepare. Holly, do you live convenient to Cleburne? Are you able to get to the property tax workshop? Because there you're going to find out firsthand exactly what you need to do in order to file your notice of protest and be most effective.
Is this coming up soon?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
the 23rd.
23rd. Let's make sure we nail that at the end of the show pretty hard.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, well, that's two. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Property Tax Justice Foundation, in cooperation with the Cleburne Chamber of Commerce, is our free homeowners property tax workshop. Our tagline is we educate, empower, and impact citizens concerning the property tax appraisal and protest system.
Josh, let's make sure we're going to have that in the ad tags next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
So Tuesday evening, you need to know your rights, protect your home, and strengthen our community. So you can go to our website in case, in ERATH. Okay, no problem. You don't have to come all the way down here.
Well, ERAT's not, it's coming up here.
Okay. I'm
don't.
geographically ignorant, folks. Let me tell you.
No, ERATH it's a decent drive, but it's not too far.
Okay. Call me, Holly. I can help you.
Right.
Okay. I will guide you, dear.
All right.
But all the information can be found on my Facebook page and also the website, propertytaxjusticefoundation.com. Because I want everybody to have access to the most resources. Please share with everybody you know about getting their informal, having redress about that. JCAD at johnsoncad.net. Please, folks.
Yeah.
Go back to the acronyms, please, Josh. Okay, so this is the order. Protest, then you get a informal. And then, I'm sorry, the informal comes before protest.
Okay.
But you have to file your notice of protest. Then you're going to get an informal. You're going to have your ARB hearing. If you don't like how that turned out, you can go to arbitration. My understanding is that the arbitrators have special training and education like the ARB does not, and people tend to do better there, except you have to make a $500 deposit in order to have that arbitration hearing. And then, folks, if the arbitrator comes closer to your value, you get $450 back, plus the benefit of the lower amount. But if it comes closer to the CAD's amount, you have given $500 for the opportunity. But the folks that I'm going to be representing, they had a fee appraisal done. There was a special circumstance, and I feel very confident that with the arbitrator, they're going to understand. And we won't get that, well, we don't understand, so we're just going to do what the CAD says. There is limited binding arbitration, and that is if there are particular rules that have not been followed. And then you can take a lawsuit, but geez, that's awful expensive. You have your exemptions, over 65, disability, military. But here's something very interesting. You have your year built, then you have an effective year. What is the effective year, you ask? Okay, Brad, I'll tell you.
I was wondering that myself.
They assume at some point you make some upgrades in the house.
Yeah.
So they just throw an effective year up there. And then assumptions are made. And you have to prove otherwise. If that isn't the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
You have to prove you didn't do something. Who the heck?
Now, these appraisals, are they almost always done, shall we say, from like 30,000 feet in the air? Or do we have appraisers that actually look at the homes?
We have appraisers that go out during certain periods of time during the year when they do their field work and they make notes. And then they come back and they enter their notes to update any records they have. But the problem is the mass appraisal. It is not looking at anything specific. That's the one where it's looking and squinting and saying, okay, all you hundreds of properties, you all look alike. It is random values. I talked to one gentleman who is on the board of directors. His property went up $100,000, and his neighbor went up $6,000. Kind of sounds a little off.
Well, what would be the solution to this problem other than having a field army of appraisers?
That's too grossly expensive.
Yeah, right.
Really, I'm not sure 100%. But what I do know is that if people were better educated to protest, it's getting those values back in order. The problem is how we have over 120,000 properties in Johnson County, and the number of people that protest is like a drop in the bucket. Okay, they don't know they can. They don't understand. I can't tell you how many people I talked to. I went to Bird's Flea Market in Cleburne last Wednesday. Sweat my butt off. I made up some flyers in Spanish because a lot of the folks there, whether they be shopper or vendor, are Hispanic.
Right.
I don't speak enough to explain something so important. So I took around the flyers and handed them out to people. They get it. They don't understand it. They put it in the drawer. They wait until October when they get the bill, and they just pay the bill.
Your husband says,
No, that's my son.
Yeah, notice it's a 4, not a 3. Eliminate is the ultimate answer. Can only mitigate this mismanagement. Until then,
Yes, son, you are right.
well, you asked to do this process first. Maybe we'll have you on again, and we could talk about the validity of property tax, or not validity, but maybe the utility of it. Maybe is the better word, because I know that several people in politics and acquaintances would like to scrap this whole process and go to a different form of revenue.
I'm all for eliminate property taxes. I would like to be able to turn to a cause that helps people in situations that they can't help. Well, okay.
Well, you're doing that now, right?
Yeah, I know. but what I meant was, more benevolent, not because the government has set up a system that you just can't win. Let's see. I don't know. Put one up for me, Josh. I've lost track of which is which.
You're just going to throw some stuff up there.
Just pick one.
All right.
Okay.
Well, this is your information of where to get a hold of you, and also
it's the notice
dates.
to file. It's the deadline to file notice of protest. Johnson County, the majority is July 2nd. There are 16,000 homeowners who are just in the process of getting their notices now, and their deadline will be July 15th. This QR code looks a little muddy. It may not get you there. It's meant to take you to the Facebook page. Don't pay more than you owe, and the only way you can avoid that is by filing your notice of protest.
Now, this July 2nd protest, are we talking about potential taxes or taxes you've already paid and you want your money back? Is this?
That ain't happening, honey.
Yeah, all right. I didn't think so.
Happening.
I mean, I want to. That's more
but
for
see,
the viewer.
We're filing a notice of protest about your value. It's so hard, and I slip. It is so hard to help people understand the difference between value and taxes.
Right.
The CAD Board of Directors has no influence over values or taxes. They have certain statutory duties given by the comptroller, none of which have anything to do with those things. But a lot of people are like, the board of directors does this. The board of directors, no, that is not in their purview.
Well, my question is this, is that if let's say I go through this process by July 2nd, which I'm obviously protesting the current evaluation, and let's say I win. Is it retroactive or is it proactive to 27?
No.
Or from that date forward?
It's your 26 taxes, but they don't get paid until you have till January 31st.
Right. Okay. That's where I'm getting at because
but it's your 26.
I pay through escrow like most homeowners do. And so you have a situation though. So if, let's say I go through this process and then by mid-July I win. And so it would affect what my escrow would be paying out later.
But then we have to see what the entities do with the tax rates.
Right.
That's the ultimate determinant of what you're going to pay.
Right. I'm making an assumption that they're not going to change, but if they do change, then obviously all bets are off. But I'm just wondering, people shouldn't walk in there, and if they win, they shouldn't be looking around for a refund check because that ain't happening. Okay.
And there is a way that the appraisers can give you an idea of what your new taxes will be based on this new value. Okay, I don't know whether it's standard, mandatory, or what, but I've found it very gracious on the part of the appraisers because that helps people with the feeling of, oh, I'm going to get some of my escrow money back because it was based on this other before. But don't overpay. Protest today.
Yeah, like
another,
that.
Josh?
Yeah, just throw another one up there, bud.
Okay, here you go. This is the evidence you want to request from the CAD. These records are essential to verify how your property was appraised. You deserve to see the evidence. Know your rights. The complete property record card, property card, that one is the key for me as far as I'm concerned. Until I've seen a property card, it doesn't mean anything to me. When my son forwarded me his, I saw that his heated and cooled portion of it. Oh, yeah. That's you, bub. But it's public information. I can call and get anybody's property tax card. I forgot I was going to ask you, but I got busy, honey.
All right, okay.
But do you see cost per square foot in that middle thing? Basically, the residence is $60 per 0.90 cents. The second floor is $63.80. Give me a break. The garage is priced the same, and it's not heated or cooled. Covered porch, is that heated or cooled? No. All relatively the same cost per square foot. That is way off. But it shows a schematic of your land, and it shows the properties that you have.
I have seen this.
Okay.
I get it every year. And I don't have any kind of additional build-ons like that. But
guess what, Bub? I talked to Mitch, and my son had spoken. He has a lot to do with Department of Transportation. He does a lot of things with cars. And when they send something like this out, they have it labeled specifically. Do you have any idea what that stuff says up there under uncertified notes? Per S&W, CM. And then you have right here, square foot, cost per square foot, total price, cond, amen, deeper, funk, eco. They're going to give a sheet that elaborates what everything means. And my son had brought that up in the meeting. So you were effective and I was effective. People are going to get a chance to readdress their settlement and waivers and get to have their property reevaluated. And then this is going to come out in English, which maybe doesn't make it a lot more understandable, but at least you have a sense of what the heck these words mean.
Well, and he also won't hopefully be getting the impression that they're trying to slide it by you.
Sure.
You know, because that's always a situation.
Yep. All appraisal records and valuation worksheets, photographs of the property improvements, inspection reports, field notes, building sketches and measurements, cost, market, and income approach data used in the valuation. Sales market value is what generally is done for residential property. I have not experienced that, anything but that in Johnson County. But there are other counties where I've heard they've tried to pull in a cost or an income, and it's like, what the heck? That does not even seem valid. But the comparable sales and comparable property analyses, any adjustments made to the comparable properties, class codes, condition ratings, quality ratings, depreciation schedules, and land valuation schedules. These are things that are set for them to do for each property that you or I would have no stinking idea about. But if you can get it ahead of time, you get the chance to learn about it. And any correspondence, memoranda, electronic records, or other documents relied upon in determining the appraised value of my property, the CAD's going to go crazy because nobody has ever asked for this much information in the history of humanity. But I keep digging, I keep researching because I want to make sure that I educate folks. And when I'm protesting on their behalf, I am getting everything to set them up for the best thing possible.
When you just mentioned you do a lot of digging and do a lot of research, if somebody wants to do some of this on their own, what are the sources you're using? Where is this information available?
Well, what I do is my AI, my ChatGPT, I call Creelan for creative language. She is trained in Texas Property Tax Code, USPAP standards, and the comptroller's hearing procedures. So basically, I have used AI to do this, and you can, but yours is going to be coming at it brand new.
Well, I'm just saying, if like somebody,
I'm putting this stuff on the website, and all you have to do is I'll have it on my website as like all you have to do is copy and paste a letter to email the CAD.
So I'm getting an impression if they want to have this protest, you need this information in the hand. Do I walk in with a big stack of papers, field notes, and all this?
Well, you have to read it and interpret it for yourself.
Right. I get that, but I'm just saying, if I want to know the field notes of my property, is that something that's available to me?
Yes, but you have to ask for it. You send an email as soon as you have requested your property tax protest.
So I could go to the CAD and say, I want all this information.
Well, you have to send them an email because you can't just walk in and get it. It's going to take them time to compile it.
Sure, I get it.
But you're entitled to every bit of this information.
So I would tell the people that are planning on this protest process, email these people, say, I want every one of these things, PDQ, please.
Yep. And they're supposed to give you your evidence 14 days in advance of your hearing.
Okay.
Now, if you don't get them 14 days in advance, a homeowner taxpayer can request a reschedule for no reason at all whatsoever. You don't have to say, oh, I didn't have enough time, anything like that.
All right, so that's interesting because that's really what I was getting at. So if I want this information, I can get it.
Yep.
It's not like you're going to have to get some sort of warrant or legal action or whatever, injunction.
You don't have to ask for a Freedom of Information Act.
Right. So I'd say, okay, I'm going to have a hearing. I get this slide and say, I want these following things, please. And
they will send it to you. Absolutely.
Very good. Josh? That's very useful information because...
And it'll be on the website.
Well, I think a lot of people, when they talk about a protest, and they think they're going in there unarmed.
Yeah.
And
many people do.
Yeah, and you're trying to tell people you actually
have the right.
You've got a lot of weapons at your disposal, so to speak.
If you only
metaphorically speaking. So there you go.
So here's the informal conversation. Okay? I can reduce your assessment a little bit right now. It's quick and easy. I can take $8,000 off. Oh, great. Small reduction's good enough for me. If you want the full benefit of your potential reduction, file your notice of protest. And then you need to request your evidence. And you're going to elaborate, just like on the previous slide, all that you want. You're going to review your assessment, know your deadlines, gather comparable sales and market data, identify errors and inequities. Like I said on my son's property card, everything's appraised approximately the same value, and that just isn't so. Prepare strong evidence and exhibits. You need to take pictures of deficient conditions and get detailed estimates for the cost of repair. If you know you're not going to be hiring somebody to do that, just be honest on the phone. Hey, I need an estimate. I don't plan on doing the work right now, but I'm going to the CAD. And contractors will appreciate your truthfulness, and they would be happy because guess what? You may not be able to afford it, but when somebody asks you about a roofing contractor, the guy that came out and inspected my roof, he was really nice. He was from Old Town.
Old Pro
Roofing.
John Williams.
There we go.
Call him. Okay.
And, I couldn't employ him because I don't have the money, but boy, was he a great guy.
Well, he really is. So, I know that this whole protest property event, I guess, if you will, whole activity, in my head, when I first heard about this, not just from you, but from others, It sounded like you're just going to go in there and say, this isn't right. And you're really not having a lot of assets at your disposal. Here, you go walk in there loaded for bear.
Yep.
And you're probably going to win because they probably don't want to mess with you. I would bet, say,
your demeanor matters a whole lot.
Well,
if you go in, okay, like a lot of people are intimidated. And if you're intimidated and it just makes you set back on your heels a little, that's fine. But other people, when they're intimidated, they come in attacking, and that isn't going to get you anywhere.
No, it isn't.
The ARB is there to try to do the best job they can, okay? Nobody is set out against you, and nobody is set out to just go with the CAD, okay? When you go in, your demeanor, engaging, thank you for your service, that kind of thing, and you always want the district to present their evidence first. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know what it's already going to be. So you know what they're going to say, and you have figured out what to say to refute that. If you go in with nothing, just listening to them, and then try to, we have people that bring in Zillow listings that haven't even been sold. They're current. It's like taking a shotgun and just shooting buckshot all over the place and hope you hit something. But when you have their evidence, you come in with a shotgun and a target, and you know exactly where to hit. But by getting all the evidence, you could get the highest value reduction. It could be 25, it could be 30,000, it could be 15. I don't know. I don't like to overpromise, but it could be any range because it depends. Is your property start out at 200,000 or is it starting out at 900,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Josh, one more. I want to make sure we get them all.
All right, you finish. And I have a question maybe at the end, but you'll finish through your material here.
Friends don't let friends not protest their property values.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because if my neighbor is overvalued, I'm paying the prices.
That's right.
I mean, they are too, but I am, and I have nothing to do with it.
A rising tide raises all ships. Okay. This is where my force multiplier protest principle comes in. These properties have not protested. They range between 400,000 and 500,000. This one took in evidence and they protested and got it down to 350. So if they're all basically the same, they're all eligible for the same value. But if they don't protest, nothing can happen.
They won't call you, will they?
Oh my gosh. Neighbors, when I can get neighbors together and we protest together, we are all evidence for one another. And that comes with market value and fair and equal. Because if you don't fight, it artificially inflates the properties around you. So I encourage people, if you've never spoken to your neighbor before, speak to them now.
This is a kind of a side note about property taxes themselves, but one argument I've heard against it is that for some people, it's a disincentive to improve their homes because if they improve their homes, the value goes up, they pay more taxes, so they just let them go to rot.
I talked to someone who they literally put sheet metal on the outside of their house just to make it look crappy. And it's like, if that's what you enjoy living in, God bless you.
Yeah, but the neighbors may not care for that.
They don't, but it's your enjoyment. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But they can use you to evidence why their property value should be lower, because if they're living next to you and you look so crappy, it is a shame that people feel like, I can't improve because it is going to change my value. And that's why hopefully the Eliminate Property Tax movement will come up with something else so that people can enjoy their properties to the absolute fullest.
Well, we need to...
Josh?
You got one more?
I don't know how to... I haven't counted.
Well, we are running close on time.
Okay.
All right.
I think that was pretty much everything.
Is it? Is there one more? Well, why don't you put the meeting time up about the Cleburne meeting? Yep. All right.
Tuesday, June 23rd, 6 to 7:30 p.m., 1511 West Henderson Street at the Cleburne Chamber of Commerce.
I'd like to have you on again, certainly. Maybe we could talk about, after the deadlines, you could talk about maybe some success stories, things of that nature. But also, I'd like to have a conversation about property taxes themselves, because that is going to be the major statewide issue in the elections and certainly the focus of the legislature next spring. And there's
we'll have to narrowly define that topic because in general, as a political type thing, I have no faith in it. I mean, when our representative brings forth 3 bills, that tells me you don't know enough, because I can't pursue 3 things at the same time. You have to listen to your constituents, do your research, come up with what you believe is the absolute best solution, and then push that with all your heart.
Well, I can't speak for Ms. Kerwin.
I can.
Okay, go ahead. I mean,
I'm just saying.
all right.
I have said it in her presence.
Okay.
Okay. That is a mind divided. And I know I can't have 3 forms of discipline for my kids. I got to pick one.
Well, I'd like to have Ms. Curran on the show, and she was scheduled a while back, and then we had that ICE event, and had to cancel, and then I have contact information I could use, and I'd like to have her on again. And she has some acquaintances that we both have, so maybe I can make that work. So 817-330-9477 is your phone. Also the Facebook page. Also, one more time on the website.
PropertyTaxJusticeFoundation.com.
Okay.
Oh, and I did learn something. Okay, 501c3 is an IRS status that we don't yet have.
Okay.
Okay, but we are a nonprofit as far as the Secretary of State.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking for financial sponsorship through another nonprofit because it takes a good 6 months or more to go through the IRS process.
No doubt. Well,
thank you for having me, Brad.
No problem. We're going to have you on again. What's your summer schedule? You going on vacation, or is it too important?
I could come back in July.
July.
Okay.
Well, before you leave, we'll do something.
Okay.
July, and then maybe also in election time. Also, since you are a nonprofit, you're eligible to be on the special show we have in September. I don't know if you know about it, but over at Gina's Pizza on North Texas Giving Day, we have all the nonprofits come in.
Yay.
And they get like 8 or 9 minutes. It's our only mass show like that. And Josh sets up the remote, and it's all fun. It's one of the best things we do.
Have you had Re-Inspire on?
I have Ms. Olson passed, right? Do you know her?
No.
Sharice Olson passed away about 2 years ago. And the person that was going to take over her place moved. And so I met the new...
Cassie, I believe is her name.
Well, now, but all right. I met a representative of Re-Inspire at the Chamber of Commerce showcase. No, it wasn't a showcase. It was the police department. That's who it was. The police department had a special program on in early May, and they had a lot of the nonprofits there. And I met their representative, and they were on to get on. I put them on email, and they said, "Be great. We'll get back to you." And I haven't heard from them.
I'm going to reach out because I recently heard about Re-Inspire at one of the chamber events, and it is. Cleburne has the Best of Cleburne review right now, and I had nominated Property Tax Justice Foundation. And then when I realized, Re-Inspire, I told some of my supporters, you know what, let's get behind Cassie and Re-Inspire.
Well, like I said, I had Miss Olson on. I bet at least 4 times. And her number one assistant, if you will, was a young woman named Shandy Pretty. And now Shandy lives in Maine. So,
can't quite make it here.
No, quite make it. No, she moved on. And that's when I met one of the representatives. I don't know if it was this Cassie you're referring to or not, but I think it sounds familiar because I think I sent my email to her. And so I am familiar with it. I know what they do. I'd like to have them on the show. When the thing about the nonprofit world I found out is that you have to have supernatural energy for it because you get stretched so thin. Yeah, and you get burned out pretty quick. And you have to, because you're trying to do it, and it seems like you're always pushing that rock up the hill. There's always that next fundraiser, always that next food drive, whatever, and diaper drive for next step, and it takes a lot of fortitude. And so...
Well, that's okay. I persevere.
Oh, no doubt.
So I will.
No doubt of that.
I think Dexter at East Cleburne Community Center would be great. They do some wonderful things for people anywhere. Anybody can come, but they're over on the east side of Cleburne.
I would like to have some Cleburne representation, if you will. And like I said, I've had Derek Weathers on when he was a city councilman. I'd like to have somebody on the Cleburne ISD. I have Joshua ISD on. Burleson ISD kind of keeps me at arm's length.
Okay.
For whatever reason, and I don't need to go down that path. But as far as all these others,
I'll be happy to scare you up some guests.
Well, scare is a good word. Josh, thanks for your nimbleness today.
Of course.
Let's see, next week on Monday, I have Jack Matson with his Longhorn Regiment. They're talking about a golf tournament they're having in July to help raise money for a wheelchair. One of these electric wheelchairs, because a lot of the children, they get a wheelchair and they grow out of it. And so they're trying to get one for a child. And then Tuesday, I'm going to have an interesting show. There's a young man who was on the show. Bailey Mullins is his name. And he was on the last time I had the mayor on. And I thought afterwards, let's talk to him, because he's got very strong opinions. And he's a young man. And so I thought, let's talk to somebody from the other generation, younger generation. I don't know if we agree eye to eye on everything, but so what? We'll have a really good conversation. So
I'm just glad it's not me.
Yeah, we're going to drag you into it.
Oh, right.
No, I can tell you, you and Mr. Mullins may also not see eye to eye on every issue.
We'll see.
Okay.
He seemed pretty cool.
Oh, he's not aggressive or harsh or anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not like me.
You're not those things. You're just very passionate. I mean, no,
I'm zealous.
Zealous? What? No, you're not any of those negative adjectives. All right, you're fine. Okay.
I like it.
All right, you have a minute to sum up everything you want people to know.
I talked to a gentleman who is living in a place that is uninhabitable by our standards. And he called because he wanted me to teach him how to protest his property value because they doubled. And I said, sir, you are definitely eligible for a scholarship with the Property Tax Justice Foundation. I said, so you'll be represented at no cost. We do have a performance bonus, but how much are your property taxes? He said they were $200. If they doubled, he would have to worry about, does he have medicine?
Right,
does he have food? And I'm like, you know what, sir? You are going to be a complete scholarship. There is no chance in heck that we could take a penny from you.
Yeah, pro bono. That's it.
You betcha, 100%. And that's the purpose of this foundation. The people that can pay help to make it possible to help the people who don't have the means to do so.
Well, God bless you doing what you're doing, because this is not just a vocation, it's an avocation, isn't it? It's your passion.
Absolutely.
And before you leave, we're going to get a date set. And like I said, we got some interesting shows coming up. I'll be taking a vacation the first week of July for the first time for a while. And I'm not going anywhere. Staycation. Well, not to get too far into it, but my mom is in a situation where I don't want to be out of pocket.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyway, thank you for what you're doing. I learn a lot from these shows. And friends out there, share it with your friends, because this is something that affects every one of us here in the vast listening audience. So
amen.
Do your best, and we will see you next Monday.